All right, let's dive right into one of the most fascinating subjects out there, the human mind. I mean, think about it. We're going to explore the science that tries to unpack everything that's happening between your ears. You know, from your biggest, most brilliant ideas all the way down to your absolute weirdest dreams.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Have you ever woken up from a dream that was just so weird? Like you're riding a bicycle made of cheese or something? And you just think, where on earth did my brain come up with that? Or what about those times when something just pops out of your mouth and you immediately wish you could take it back? Well, these little everyday mysteries, that's exactly what psychology is all about.
So, okay, what are we actually talking about when we say psychology? The word itself literally comes from the Latin for study of the soul, which is pretty cool. But the modern definition, the one scientists use, is a bit more down to earth. It's the science of behavior and mental processes. Basically, it's the study of everything we do, everything we think, and everything we feel. The whole shebang.
All right, let's get into the history here. Now, when you hear the word psychology, I'm gonna bet one name probably pops into your head. Sigmund Freud, right? And look, he was a huge deal, no doubt about it. But the story of trying to figure ourselves out, oh, that quest started thousands of years before Freud ever asked someone to lie down on his famous couch.
And just look at how far back this goes. We're talking 2,000 years ago, Chinese rulers were using early forms of personality and intelligence tests. I mean, that's incredible. Then you jump forward to the late 800s, and you have the Persian physician Al-Razi, who was one of the first people we know of to actually describe and treat mental illness. It takes until 1879, that's pretty recent, relatively speaking, for Wilhelm Wundt to open the very first official psychology lab, which kind of kicks off the modern science of it all. And Freud, he doesn't even show up on the scene until 1900. The foundation was being built for a long, long time.
So once psychology becomes this official science, things get interesting. Right away, a huge debate kicks off. You've got these two competing schools of thought, and they have totally different ideas about how you should even begin to study the mind. It was like the first big battle for the soul of psychology itself.
So this created a real split. In one corner, you had structuralism, championed by that lab guy, Wundt. Their big question was, what are the parts of the mind? They tried to figure this out using something called introspection, which basically meant asking people to describe their own experiences. Like, how do you feel while you're licking a cat? The problem, as you can imagine, is that it's super subjective. My experience is going to be different from yours. Then, in the other corner, you had functionalism, led by the brilliant William James. He was inspired by Darwin and asked a totally different question. Why does the mind do what it does? He wasn't interested in the parts. He wanted to know the purpose, the evolutionary function of our thoughts and behaviors.
Okay, so while these two camps, the structuralists and the functionalists, are duking it out, another figure enters the scene. And yeah, this brings us back to the man himself, Sigmund Freud. He was working on a theory that was about to change, well, pretty much everything. And he was focused on a part of the mind that nobody else was really paying attention to, the unconscious.
Freud's big aha moment was actually inspired by a patient known only as Anna O. A colleague of his was treating her with a really new method. All she had to do was talk. Just talk freely about her symptoms, whatever came to mind. And as she talked, she started digging up these traumatic, long-forgotten memories. And then something amazing happened. As she brought these memories to the surface, her physical symptoms, the things that had been plaguing her, started to disappear. This was it. This was the birth of what we now call psychoanalysis, or the talking cure.
And this led to the really revolutionary idea at the heart of it all, that our personalities, our actions, are all shaped by unconscious motives. Think about that. Freud was saying that there are these powerful thoughts and desires swirling around inside of us that we're not even aware of. It's like an iceberg. We only see the tiny tip, while this massive, powerful force is driving us from just beneath the surface.
And you really can't overstate how huge this was. I mean, you have to understand, before Freud, people suffering from mental illness were, well, they were often just locked away, confined, with no hope of getting better. But his work suggested something totally different. It suggested that these weren't life sentences, that mental disorders could actually be healed through talking, through self-exploration, through therapy. It was a complete game changer in how we approach mental health, a truly massive, humane shift.
But of course, the story doesn't stop with Freud, not by a long shot. Psychology kept evolving, and as we moved into the 20th century, new ideas started to pop up that would once again shake things up, leading us to the much broader, more integrated science that we know today.
So the next big wave was basically a full-on rebellion against Freud. Thinkers like B.F. Skinner came along and said, whoa, hold on. You can't build a real science on stuff you can't even see, like this unconscious mind business. This was behaviorism. And for them, psychology had to be about one thing only: observable, measurable behavior. That's why they did all those famous experiments, training rats in a box. Their belief was that you could understand human behavior by studying how we're conditioned by our environment.
So after all that back and forth, where are we today? Well, modern psychology isn't about picking a side in that old battle. It's really a synthesis. It takes the best from all of them. It's a science of the seen, studying observable behaviors just like the behaviorists wanted. But it's also a science of the unseen, acknowledging that our internal thoughts and feelings are absolutely crucial, just like Freud argued. It's this awesome, integrative field that pulls from all these different theories, psychoanalytic, behaviorist, cognitive, you name it, to try and get the most complete picture possible of what makes us tick.
And when you step back and look at the whole thing, it's just mind-blowing. There's this quote from an astronomer, Owen Gingerich, that I love. This is a guy who spends his life looking out at galaxies and nebula, and he said the human mind is, quote, by far the most complex physical object known to us in the entire cosmos. Just think about that. Not a star, not a black hole, the thing right between your ears. And every single one of us has one.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought. That very thing you are using right now to listen to my voice, to process these ideas, to think and to feel, that mind of yours is the most complex thing in the known universe. So if that's true, what is it capable of discovering next? What incredible things are just waiting inside you to be unlocked?